Hi everyone, here's Mister. Oh, hey bud, what you doing? We are going to do the reading of chapter one. Chapter one of Naked Soul, Astral Travel and Cosmic Relationships. Uh, by Marlene Marie Druhan. So we've done the introduction, and now we are going to do the Soul Traveler as Explorer, Part 1. Looking Skyward, Chapter 1. Preparation and Protection. Is that your book, mister? You like that? Raised in a metaphysical family, I took it for granted that my father practiced mind power and my mother was a soul traveler. It didn't confuse me that my childhood peers did not meditate with their parents or look for nature spirits in fragrant October forests. Reared in this protective bubble of alternative spirituality that embraced all religions, I learned to accept the differences of others, as well as how to cope being from a different kind of family. There's a little poem that I forgot about before I started. It says, "Who is the intrepid seeker, who plunges into the abyss like a sword, to pierce the black vision, to find an angel singing?" What did bother me was my inability to follow in my mother's footsteps. She often spoke about her exhilarating journeys out of body to European cathedrals where she touched glowing angels painted on Gothic domes and tasted succulent fruit from glimmering orchards not of this world. Throughout my childhood and early teens, I struggled to astral project. I did breathing, yoga, meditation, and visualization to no avail. The harder I tried, the more grounded I became. I abandoned my quest. During this period of non-activity, I found myself becoming open to the spirit world, which eventually enabled me to realize my lifelong goal. A year and a half after giving up on astral projection, gradually, effortlessly, I found myself out of body. Despite my upbringing, I was shocked but thrilled to find my own spiritual abilities, and, looking back now, I was also unprepared. In the course of years to follow, I learned painfully how important it is to shield oneself from negative people and situations if spiritual advancement without consequences is to be achieved. This is why I ask you, the reader, to take some time to go through the simple preparations in this chapter before embarking on the soul travel quest. Equally preparing the body, mind, and spirit ensures quicker results, reliable protection, and spiritual balance. Don't worry if you feel overwhelmed or cannot memorize all the information you need in this chapter. This chapter is the collective knowledge I've gained over the past 13 years, that same time for me, that you may benefit from, and is here if and when the need arises. For now, take what you need and look forward to your journeys in the spirit body. Preparation. If we are to maintain peak performance and prevent injury, we prepare our bodies before physical activity. The same should be considered before we look skyward and astral travel. If you haven't yet experienced astral projection, or if you do on a regular basis, take a few days or weeks to focus on each, mind, body, and spirit, to prepare them. As you read the following pages of preparation, you'll find that each category will overlap the others. It is impossible to separate the body from the mind from the spirit, and so forth. So if one of our three selves is developed and prepared more so than others, it will pose a problem somewhere in the course of your spiritual progress. Preparation of the physical body and physical life. The physical body is the temple of our souls. and the vehicle we use to experience earthly life. It is the nucleus of our greatest human joy as well as our pain. If the body is unhealthy, so will be our spiritual selves. From my own experience, having good health is the most important asset a soul traveler can have. Pain, fatigue, stress, and intoxication all have a negative influence on soul travel, at times even hindering it. I knew that. Getting enough sleep, eating whole non-processed foods, and moving the body and exercise ensures a positive foundation for our greatest health potential. Having a healthy body also means having a healthy aura. The aura is the etheric, protective shield that surrounds the body. In a healthy state, this multicolored, flame-like force field acts as a psychic moat, obstructing negative or harmful energies from entering our spiritual space. Poor health, addiction, negative emotion, negative people or situations, and poor diet all weaken this beautiful shield. When the aura is weakened, it loses its inborn power to give us psychic protection and allows harmful entities and energies into our physical, mental, and spiritual space. Indeed. The most significant enemy to a healthy aura is a weak, tired, or sick physical body. As physical preparation for soul travel, strive daily to eat only high vibrational foods that still have life force intact. These foods are whole, unprocessed grains and fresh vegetables and fruit, preferably organic, fresh juices, herbal decaffeinated beverages, and foods that don't have processed sugars, preservatives, or artificial additives. It is unnecessary to be vegan or vegetarian as long as your meat intake is balanced with plenty of aforementioned foods. If you feel an affinity to plant energies, you may wish to drink teas made from herbs that have a long mystical tradition. Yarrow flowers, mugwort, peppermint, rosemary, and lemongrass have long been used by mystics to stimulate the psychic centers. From experience, these herbs work best alone. They can be purchased at health food stores or herbal suppliers and are completely safe, non-habit forming, caffeine-free, and produce results when taken faithfully. Preparing the body for soul travel through positive eating habits is enhanced by some form of creative or spiritual-based movement. Tai Chi, yoga, Qigong, that doesn't say that, but I'm adding it here. Easy stretching, walking, ballet, ethnic or ritual dance, you can find those things in my Essentia Shiva Shakti playlist, are all wonderful forms of exercise that work with the body's natural rhythms and encourage creativity. Even if you have a firm exercise schedule that includes sports and workouts, these gentle movements are wonderful additions to your routine. Perhaps before that 5-mile run or 1-hour aerobics class, you can choose yoga or Tai Chi to loosen up your muscles and soothe your soul. I prefer Qigong. It's Qigong. Proper exercise and creative movements in any form stimulate etheric and psychic energies that can become dormant when the body is idle too long. A weekly psychically cleansing bath also prepares the body for projection. Once a week, add the following to your bath water: a cleansing bath. 1/4 a cup of pure sea salt or 1 cup of ocean water, 3 cupfuls pure rose water, 5 drops pure essential oil of myrrh, jasmine, or sandalwood. Before we continue, I've always just taken a cleansing shower. Every time I take a shower, I cleanse myself spiritually. I've always done this ever since I was a kid. I didn't know that this was a thing. I just did it. I always called it, like I said, a spiritual cleansing shower. And as you visualize it, the negativity, the emotions, the bad day that you had the day before, whatever, washes away with the water. You can also bless and cleanse the water as well. I do that too. And it also goes through the entire building. So I also have that run like through the pipes wherever it touches to bless those places as well. And, so that it goes through the entire system of the entire building. And Epsom salt. Sometimes I use that too, and that's just as good. You can use Himalayan salt. Whatever is best for you. You don't actually have to follow this. See what I'm saying? This is just something that's worked for her. I'm suggesting what's worked for me. You do what works best for you, huh? If you shower, simply dissolve 1 tablespoon of pure sea salt with 3 capsules of pure rose water and 3 drops of pure essential oil of myrrh, jasmine, or sandalwood in 2 cups of water from your shower and pour over your body after cleansing yourself. Whether you bathe or shower, do not rinse the fragmented salt water off. I always rinse off. It's fine. Whatever you want to do. As you bathe or shower, imagine the week's negativity washing down the drain, leaving your body and your aura shimmering clean. Sometimes I'll also speak with the divine in the shower, and I will pray to cleanse my mind, body, and spirit, yes. Water not only cleanses you physically, but also astrally, as does pure sea salt. Rose water, myrrh, jasmine, and sandalwood are all high vibrational fragrances that stimulate spiritual awareness. Your physical surroundings are also very important to your soul travel and spiritual success. Keep your environment physically clean from dirt and clutter. A cluttered room interferes with positive energy waves that are conductive to psychic and spiritual work. Also, if you have a messy apartment, the negative entities love that. They love hoarders. It's awful. We can go through that another time, though. I apologize for digressing. You really want, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like I do have, my book stacked there. I need to set up my bookshelf and stuff but it's clean in here, okay? To keep your environment physically charged with good energy, play beautiful, uplifting music that makes you feel joyful, creative, loving, or spiritual. There's also some mantras in my playlist that I like. Fragrance also channels higher energy, and you may wish to burn incense or use natural potpourris or misters, like the oil diffusers. Choose products that are made from only pure essential oils and fragrances, not artificial or semi-pure substances, as artificial fragrance is spiritually worthless. Again, if you have an affinity to plant energies, you may wish to fill small bowls with mystical herbs and put them by your bed or near any other place you plan on doing your spiritual or soul travel work. Mudwort, poplar leaves, or rosemary all have magical history in promoting astral projection when placed near the physical body. If you have an affinity to minerals, stones, and gems, you may also add these to your herb bowls. Hematite, celestite, and amethyst. I always wear amethyst. Always. I never take this off. And amethyst are said to encourage astral projection. You may even wish to wear them as jewelry. I have a ring also of amethyst, and I have blue topaz on this ring. Lastly, but most importantly, I would like to discourage the use of recreational drugs, including alcohol, in spiritual and psychic activity. LSD, marijuana, mescaline, heroin, mushrooms, and alcohol all weaken the aura despite positive experiences that many have had while under their influence. I agree. These mind-altering substances may open an individual to the mystical, but they also unavoidably leave an individual vulnerable to negative forces. That's true. Many of you may dispute this fact because of the history of hallucinogens in the tribal shaman's life. What must be considered here is the thorough training a shaman undergoes. This lifelong vocation is based on many years of arduous study of the mystical arts with an elder, either living or in the spirit world. You don't exactly have to be in a tribe to be a shaman. But we will not digress. Or have an elder living in the spirit world or having one in your physical life, no matter how dedicated we are to our spiritual training and involvement, our lives differ from that of the shamans because most of us deal with the outside world constantly. My isolation makes sense. This means we are always surrounded by the negativities of society, and we are forever in the process of shielding the purity of our spiritual quests from these influences. The shaman, on the other hand, is constantly surrounded by like-minded people who encourage, support, revere, and nurture his vocation and special abilities. That is vitally important. Over a period of many challenging years, the shaman learns his trade, so to speak, and is prepared to use hallucinogens as a sacred practice. Since we work and raise families in our modern world, I believe that very few of us can live a sheltered shaman's life. I was blessed to have that chance. No matter how we try to think we are succeeding. Okay. We may try recreational drugs in a very inspired moment and have a beautiful and shimmering mystical experience. But after these first few times, the drugs begin to puncture that taut psychic resistance of the aura until it becomes so slack that negative forces flow into our space with unchallenged ease. Our drug use, no matter how ceremonial, does not contain the preparation, positive environment, and spiritual power of the shaman's drug use. Most importantly, the shaman is trained to leave his body both without the use of drugs as well as with the aid of artificial stimulants. When we use drugs to aid our mystical experience, we become accustomed to relying on the substances and not our inborn shamanic gifts. I agree. Drug use is a direct solicitation for dark energies that wait patiently until they find a gateway into the spiritual seeker's life. That's true. These gateways are holes and gaps in an unhealthy aura, so I advise that you seek to discover and polish your natural mystical ability. This way, you are preserving the light and strength of your aura while being spiritually independent. How to protect your physical and spirit body, how to avoid dangers and common fears will all be addressed under the protection section later in this chapter. Preparation of the mind and emotional life. If our physical bodies and surroundings are correctly balanced and prepared for soul travel, but our emotions are not, then there is still a risk of energy loss and aura impairment. The emotions of a soul traveler are equally important for positive and successful journeys. The emotions are directly related to the etheric power centers of the body, known as chakras. The word chakra means wheel in Sanskrit because of the swirling light energies of these spiritual centers that are located along the length of the spine. Traditionally, there are 7 major chakras, being at the base of the spine and concluding at the top of the head. Each chakra corresponds to a different organ function in the physical body, responds to a particular types of emotion, exudes and vibrates at a particular color, and possesses its own unique sound. The Kundalini, the Sanskrit word for the inherent spiritual force or serpent fire, sleeps at the base of the spine until activated. The goal of many Eastern religions is to awaken this mystical power that only when it is awakened travels upward toward through each chakra until it reaches the crown at the top of the head. Once the Kundalini reaches the highest chakra center, the individual reaches a state of enlightenment or cosmic consciousness. There is a picture here. Okay? I'm just going to pause for a moment. Okay. So we will read what it says. It says the crown chakra, we'll start at the top. The crown chakra, the mystic's gateway. The brow chakra, the psychic chakra. The throat chakra, the heart chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the sex belly chakra. That's also your solar plexus, okay? Oh no, that's the solar plexus up there. What's that one? The sex belly chakra. I didn't even know about that one. See, I'm learning with you. I'm not an expert at this, and I'm also eating pizza. We just talked about not eating artificial food, like, just never mind. Sex belly chakra, and then the root chakra, okay? This is called the major chakras of the physical and spiritual bodies. Unreleased anger, frustration, grief, sexual energy, and unresolved fear become lodged in the chakras, making it very difficult, if not impossible, for the Kundalini power to travel upward. Well, it's difficult. It's not impossible. They just fight harder to get up. It makes it uncomfortable. Don't be like me. Well, kind of, but not all the way. Once a chakra becomes littered with the etheric energies of unresolved or unexpressed emotions, the chakra becomes sluggish. Its good energy corked, and eventually unable to function. Almost like, I watched a video, it's from Avatar The Last Airbender, actually, and it talks about how when the energies are blocked, it's almost like a clog in a river that can't keep flowing, becoming dam. When you release the dam, the clog, the water can naturally flow. That's also found in that same playlist that I was talking about, the Kundalini Shiva Shakti one. Therefore, I cannot stress enough the importance of releasing anger when it is felt, within reason and without harm to another person. Yeah. You can do it in many different ways. Sometimes I even do that with humor, like kind of being funny about it. Grief when it is welling up inside, and sexual energy before it becomes frustration. If each of us would deal with the emotion and situation at hand, there would be no accumulation of unwanted, worthless energy in the chakras, and most of us would probably experience our spiritual and creative potential much sooner. I've always been a very emotional person. I've always expressed those emotions. I've never been a person to hold that in. Maybe I've been a little bit too much at times. Of course, I had to learn a balance, which has always been very important for me. With the insistence of one of my soul guides, over a 2-week period, I dealt with the emotions at hand, cried when I felt like crying, screamed when I felt like screaming, and so on. I was amazed to realize what I had buried, trying to stay strong without releasing feelings. The first few days were almost unbearable in intensity, but after seeing the first week through, I felt lighter and lighter than I had in years. It was as though I had emerged from a dark tomb and saw the sunlight. When the 2-week period reached its end, I found myself on fire with creativity and joy just to be alive. Most of all, I was traveling in the soul body like never before. The effortless, ecstatic journeys of that time were possible by my willingness to be vulnerable enough to feel and then let it go. We are all encouraged by society from a very early age to be in control, to be strong, and impervious to deep emotion. As a result, as adults, we find ourselves numb to joy, embittered by experience, unable to love with our whole selves, and sexually inhibited, or promiscuous, unable or fearful to commit to one person. In reality, we are our strongest when we have the courage to fully feel. As part of your emotional and mental preparation for soul travel, Take a few days or weeks, the longer the better, to allow emotions to surface. If you're thinking right now, if I cry, I'll never stop, then you are in more need of emotional release than you realize, and probably have years of unreleased feelings trapped in your chakras and even in the cells of your physical body. Dare to feel. Enter that dark room we fill with anger and uncried tears, and then throw open the curtains and let the light of peace and let the light of peace and forgiveness. It may be a long road, but it is well worth the effort. Once I did this in my own life, I progressed at lightning speed in my own spiritual pursuits and even experienced physical healing. So while you are preparing physically, prepare emotionally and give your heart a well-deserved, long-awaited house cleaning. Remember that once is not enough. Keeping the chakras clean takes maintenance and means that it is a moment-to-moment dedication. During the times I don't release emotions, giving it license to fester and take hold of my well-being, with parasitic tenacity, my spiritual abilities lose power and my physical energy dwindles to a flicker. So even though it is difficult sometimes, and sometimes inconvenient, and even frightening, the results are worth all of it. Hold on. Okay, so look, I've made a salad. Everybody can relax. It has, you see it? It has strawberries, cucumbers, little crunchy cracker things, some almonds, and like cabbage and carrots and oops, and different stuff in there. I just chopped it all up. Now I'm eating a salad, okay? It's really good too. Strawberries in a salad is excellent. Okay, we're only going to read a little bit more anyway. To prepare mentally for soul travel, take a few minutes a day to plan where you will go once you leave your body. Write down all the places, as if you're planning a wonderful trip. Read about your earthly destinations, and dream about the ones you will discover within the inner planes. While you do this, ask yourself why you want to travel in the soul body. Your answers may be something like this: to visit Aunt Mary, who died last year, to see beautiful celestial cities, etc. If you find your answers involve spying on your ex-lover, or that gorgeous person who works at the bookstore, or being the first one in your meditation group to do it, then take a minute and be honest to remember what truly gives you fulfillment. Please don't do that. I do not do those things. Like I was saying, I try to prevent it from happening now. It's exhausting for me. Clearly, I have not got my shit all together. Never claimed to. Please don't use these things for negative things. It will not, it will make you feel powerful at first, but I promise you the karma of it has you to descend, right? You're not going to ascend like that. Just because you've gained a skill like this doesn't mean you still can't end up in the lower realms, because you very much can. Mr. says hi. Okay? You can. So that's what I was worried about a lot too, that people would use the stuff that I'm talking about for bad things. I highly discourage it. You know, true richness is the richness of your soul. That is what you take with you. That is what your value is. It's for all to see. It bears your certificates and your diploma. I had a friend say that to me once. She said, you know what, Lacey? She said, I don't care about being rich. She goes, because I have richness in my soul. And I never forgot that, and it was very influential. So that is my advice to you. Yes, we are all human and have human moments when we have burning desires to haunt or seek mischievous revenge or see if that celebrity really is a good lover. But as soul travelers and spiritual seekers, we must follow a reasonable code of ethics. I did something once by mistake. I didn't mean to. To reach our mystical potential, following the golden rule should be our first goal. Do unto others only what you would have do unto you. For greatest success, we should strive to adhere to the following. Allow others their physical, emotional, and spiritual space, including privacy. Remember there is a fine line between the black arts, occult means hidden, occult practices that involve manipulation, revenge, psychic infliction. So, like I was saying, think of this as magic, and magic depends upon the user. So, and there are a lot of people who use this stuff for bad things. Power over others, manipulation to make money or whatever. And it's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. It's held us back quite a lot. And the spiritual arts, mystical and positive occult practices that aim for the highest good for all concerned. Live and astral project by the above mentioned golden rule. Do unto others what you would have them do unto you. Feed the soul, not the lower self or ego. Strive for spiritual, psychic, mystical progress to reach fullest potential, not to have power over others, appear holier, or use spiritual abilities as a badge of pride. Lastly, as mental and emotional preparation, study the chakra chakra chart. I almost said shard. If you are unfamiliar with the chakras or need to brush up, it's on page 10. I showed you that already. Techniques for spiritual projection found in this book involve these spiritual centers. But most importantly, sing, dance, play with animals and children, paint, love and be loved. Joy is the most valuable emotional asset a soul traveler can have. I agree. When we take time to be free, we find happiness. And when we are happy, we can accomplish great things. So the next part is called Preparation of the Spirit and Psychic Life. Okay, it's page 13. But we're going to stop there for now, and we will continue on the next installment. Because it's all part 1, and then part 2 is page 37. Okay? So, I think I talked about myself enough already. Today is January 11th, so it's 111. That's a very powerful portal. I didn't know where the energy was coming from, and it hit me last night. I tossed and turned all night long. Nothing was bothering me. I really knew that I had to get rest. I wasn't forcing it. You know, I did all the regular things, but unfortunately, I don't know. And then it hit me. Today was 111. I'm trying to mix this up a little bit here. So, I'll talk more about me in a personal update, but I've learned a lot through making a lot of mistakes, clearly. I really do try, but one of my biggest hindrances, the things that hold me back, is the fact that I do not have fulfilling soul connections with others. Again, I don't want to make these videos too long. This is about the Naked Soul book, but yeah, I will talk about that. I'll just call it personal update. And probably involving love. So, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm really sorry again for eating. while making these videos. I know, mister, I'm going to get you some food. Mister's hungry. I'm going to finish my food and I'm going to go. But I knew that I had to get this done. I have to go back to work at 1:30. And it's 11:45, so I just wanted to do this for everybody. I'm also taking care of me. You know, I know that's very important. But it's about balance, right? So I'm going to go. And I thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope this has been beneficial. And I will see you next time when we continue. Take care. Bye-bye.